Hello everyone, my name is Gabby and today I'm going to be breaking down my top 5 favorite artists of 2019. Coming in at number 5 is Logan Henderson. Logan is undoubtedly my artist of the decade. I have grown up listening to his music and he has been with me since 2009, 2010 to now. Granted, there were a few years that he took off and didn't release any music, but once he finally came back and started his solo career, it has been so exciting to listen to him grow as an artist and see him find his sound and listen to each new single as he releases them. In 2019, Logan dropped 3 singles: End of the World, a cover of Rocket Man by Elton John, and Disappear. Disappear was his opening song on tour and I absolutely love that song. It is my ringtone and my alarm. I just can't get enough of it. It's so odd to me. I have absolutely no idea what the lyrics mean, but it has such a fun beat and it's just dancey and it's one of those songs that like you want to sing along to at a concert or just jam out to at a concert or jam out to in the car because it just has a fun vibe to it. End of the World is such a good song. It's inspired by the Netflix show End of the Fucking World. I tried to watch a few episodes of that show, didn't finish it because I was like, this is way too dark for me, but I can very much see how that song is inspired by the Netflix show. I love the music video for that single. It's so beautiful and so well done. And then Logan's Rocket Man cover is fantastic. It's so beautiful and soulful. I love how the cover for this song matches up to Elton John's original cover. Like side by side, you can see how inspired Logan's cover is by the original, but it's still his own sound. I wish Logan had released a few more singles in 2019. I was particularly hoping for him to release Zodiac because I think he's been performing that song since the summer of 2018, but I'm hoping that we'll finally get a released version to like stream on Spotify in 2020 and hopefully some other songs as well. I don't want Logan to feel rushed or pressured as an artist to release music. I want him to be able to find his own sound gradually on his own, to be able to release music gradually on his own, because I'm always going to be here listening to his music and supporting him. It was such an honor to meet him in 2019 and I'm really excited to see what 2020 has in store for him. Moving on to number 4, and that is Charlie Puth. Charlie, I think, hands down, is one of the most talented artists of my generation. I am just continually impressed and fascinated when Charlie talks about music and producing and mixing and mastering all of his songs and what goes into creating his music, to the point where I genuinely want instrumentals of all of his songs so I can focus on all of the things that are going on behind the lyrics, because when I listen to music, I'm much more of a lyrics person, so I tend to not be so focused on the stuff that's going on behind the lyrics, and I want to be able to do that for Charlie's music because there is so much going on that's very much more of his element rather than lyrics. In 2019, Charlie released 3 singles: I Warned Myself, Mother, and Cheating on You. I think I Warned Myself was my favorite of the 3. The choking noise in that song just completely caught me off guard, but I thought it fit perfectly into the song and just really encapsulated Charlie as an artist and that he's willing to do all of these really weird experimental things. It sort of reminded me of that gasp or breath that he takes in Attention before diving back into the chorus of that song, and the music sort of picks up a notch, or at least it seems like it does to me. I love the fact that he's able to do that experimental stuff with his music and it just works really well. Charlie's an artist that is constantly growing and evolving and changing his sound, and I love that, but my biggest hang up with him as an artist is the fact that it feels like he's constantly evolving and changing style because he's not happy with what it is that he makes before, and I think that all of his songs that he's released are fantastic, even some of his early stuff, because he is just so brilliant and talented as an artist, and I hate the fact that he looks back on that and is like, that's not very good, that's not me, because you should still be proud of everything you create, even if it doesn't feel like who you are now. So I appreciate the fact that he's growing and evolving, but I love all of his stuff and I don't want to see him ashamed of any of the work that he creates, because this stuff is fantastic and I want to see him be more confident in 2020. But I'm excited for him to release a new album. I really hope he tours, and I will just never cease to be amazed by Charlie and his artistry and the way that he creates music. And if you actually want to check out one of my vlogs where I see Charlie on the voice notes tour, I will leave that link down below. Moving on to our top 3, coming in at number 3 is Jake Miller. So Jake Miller was my artist of the year. I started listening to him in January of 2019 and I've listened to him throughout all of 2019. Jake is fantastic. I honestly do not know an artist that has more drive and ambition than him. In 2019 alone, this man dropped 2 EPs and toured twice. That's insane to me. I don't know a single artist that goes that hard. And all of his songs are so fantastic and so beautifully composed and produced and are just so different from his original sound, and I absolutely love his growth as an artist. I love his albums 2 AM in LA and Silver Linings, both which are entirely produced on his own. He was in control of every single element of those albums, even the album covers and all of the promotional work that went into it and producing all the songs, recording all of them. Like, he did everything on his own as an independent artist, and that's so impressive to release 2 full albums as an independent artist. You just don't see that. But now that Jake is signed to a record label, he's still able to do his own thing, be able to create his own sound, but he has the funds and the support to be able to make higher quality music. He has people who can fund music videos for him, people who can fund tours, people who can help with the producing and the mixing and the mastering and the editing and all the work that goes into making a final version of a song, and I'm really glad that he has that because it's only going to help him grow as an artist. I think he was taking saxophone lessons, which I think is crazy. Just the fact that he constantly wants to learn and grow and improve his artistry, I have so much respect for. He genuinely seems like such a nice guy. I did get to meet him this year, but we really didn't have that much of a conversation. It was like a very, 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 very quick meet and greet, but I was still really honored to meet him. I'm really excited to see what the new decade has in store for him because he just, again, is one of those artists that just grinds and goes so hard, and I personally haven't seen anything like that in a significant period of time, and I think a large part of that maybe comes from him being an independent artist and sort of having a lot of freedom over how often he releases music and how often he tours and when he wants to promote his music, and the fact that he also just really enjoys touring. There's a lot of artists that are like, yes, I like touring, yes, I like meeting my fans and doing all of that, but I also need a break, and I think a large part of that is because their tours may be longer and maybe much more intense. Either way, I have a lot of respect for Jake as an artist, and I'm so glad that I started listening to him in 2019, and I'm definitely going to continue to be a fan into the new decade. Moving on to our top 2, my number 2 artist of 2019 is Taylor Swift. So my 1 and 2 artists are very, very difficult because honestly, once I get into number 1, I think both of these artists are honestly equally ranked for me, but I put Taylor at number 2 just because I feel like I had a much more emotional reaction to my number 1 artist, which again, we will get to in a few seconds. But oh my goodness, Taylor Swift. I've been listening to Taylor since 3rd grade, so she could easily be another one of my artists of the decade, but I feel like Reputation and now Lover were really the 2 albums that sort of pushed me into like, yes, I need to listen to everything that Taylor releases, and I really need to support her as an artist because she's fantastic. And especially after everything Taylor went through this year with Scooter Braun and Scott Borchetta, I am hands down a Taylor Swift fan. I really want to see her on tour whenever she comes to Chicago next, but I'm not complaining about the fact that she's not in my area. I'm excited for everyone that does get to see her at Loverfest and gets to see her abroad, and that all of her international fans get a chance to see her. I think that's fantastic. Lover is such an amazing album, and I am going to be doing the Lover book tag in February, and I can probably get more detail into all of the songs and my thoughts on the songs when I do that tag. But the album is so beautiful. There's so many fun songs that are really poppy and upbeat. There's also some really beautiful songs. I've started listening more to 1989 this year, and I absolutely love that album. Reputation is fantastic. Taylor's just so amazing an artist, and I think a large part of that comes from her lyrics. Charlie, like I mentioned, is much more of a sort of music person, more of the instrumentation, whereas Taylor is much more lyrics. There's a definite story that goes on in her songs, and the fact that they like all tie together, like Daylight has references to Red, I believe, and then Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince has all these political allusions within it, and her music videos, all the Easter eggs that she has in them. She is such a brilliant storyteller, and I have so much respect for her for that because it makes it so much fun to listen to her music and to get excited for her new albums because you have absolutely no idea what story story she's going to tell and what mood it's going to set. I also feel like the great thing about Taylor's music is that you could have a song that you listen to and you're maybe like about it when you first listen to it, but suddenly a year later you listen to it again and it becomes really personal for you, and I love that about her songs. And again, this album was just so fun and whimsical and exciting, and I just love it to pieces, as does pretty much a decent chunk of BookTube. I know a lot of people were freaking out about Lover when it came out. I had so much fun listening to it right when it dropped at midnight this summer. It was one of my favorite parts of the summer to just like put my headphones on and just listen track by track, and then wake up in the morning and listen to it again and just sort of let it all sink in. I'm just so glad I finally started to fully get on the bandwagon because she's so brilliant, and I love this album, and I'm so excited to keep listening to it in 2020. And moving on to my number one artist of 2019, and that is Ben Platt. So Sing to Me Instead. This album is fantastic. I cannot tell you how moved I was by this album. I think for me, the reason why I put Ben Platt at number one is because this album just feels personal to me in a way that Taylor Swift entirely doesn't. I don't even know if that's grammatically correct English, but I think you know what I mean. So when this album came out, I was close to graduating high school, and so there were lots of songs that felt really personal. Older, which is one of the last songs on the album, it just really felt like the perfect song for graduation. I actually had a video project that I had to do for my AP Lit class, and I used that as a song behind a video montage that I had made. It felt like such a fitting song for moving on, new beginnings. In Case You Don't Live Forever, that song, the first like 3 or 4 times that I listened to it, I could not stop sobbing. Every single time I put it on, I started crying, and there is no song that I've ever listened to on any album ever, besides maybe a Big Time Rush album, but I cannot think of a song that has made me cry that hard. Like, I was hardcore sobbing. I can't tell you, like, I've never had a song move me in the way that that one did, and this whole album was an emotional roller coaster. It was so beautiful, and it just, oh my god, I just love it so much, and I feel like not enough people really talked about this album because it was so fantastic and so heartwarming, and just Ben Platt's riffs, I mean, his vocals are amazing, and this album gives me so many feelings, and I'm so excited for him to release a new album soon. He dropped another single the day that Lover came out called Rain, and that's such a beautiful, fun, and dancey song, and it feels slightly different to Sing to Me Instead because Sing to Me Instead has a lot of like sadder songs, but they're still really, really beautiful. So it was nice to get something a little bit more upbeat, although new on Sing to Me Instead is an upbeat song that's really fun and poppy that I enjoyed listening to. I love Ben Platt. I love the fact this album was a little bit of a coming out story for him, which just felt really beautiful, and I'm just so happy for him. Just so grateful that he exists and that I am alive in the same time as Ben Platt, and I'm so stoked for his second album whenever the hell it comes out, because Ben is truly so talented and I just can't get enough of him. So that is it for my top 5 favorite artists of 2019. Did you listen to the same music that I did? Did you listen to something different? Let me know. That being said, thank you all so much for watching, and if you want to check me out, all of my social media links are down below. I also have my Depop link down below if you want to buy any books from me. My name is Gabby. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time in a new one. Goodbye!